Hello everybody, Dr. Shadi, Ireifej here, surgeon at True Care for Pets, Studio City, Los Angeles. Welcome to Vet Talks. Let's pause for a minute. This is where we talk about, informally speak about a topic of the week. And today we'll talk about mourning for your deceased pet. Not the happiest of subjects, but one that's necessary in any profession that deals with medical care, but especially veterinary. And what triggers this event this video is that we've had our case this week where the pet owner had some quite some difficulty trying to cope with their pet's loss. Part of it maybe because the diagnosis for the pet's eventual demise is unclear, and probably because of an emotional difficulty in trying to move on. So let's start with a very basic premise in that anytime you are living with or dealing with or involving yourself with living beings, they're going to die. I mean, and nothing lasts forever. And it is something inherent to any relationship, right, where you care for somebody or something. And animals, of course, are an extreme example of that because they're not going to live 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. The lifespan of a dog or a cat can be anywhere from 5-6 years old for some really large dog breeds to up in the low 20s for certain cat breeds, first cats, and everything in between. So the majority of pets probably end up passing away around their teens. And even though medicine is getting better and pets are living longer, at some point your pet is going to die. The chance of them dying before you die is, of course, really high. So we'll start with that basic premise, and that the second you attach yourself to a pet, you are eventually going to be heartbroken by their passing. It's inevitable. They may pass of old age, or they may pass from natural causes, or they may pass away from disease. That disease could be related to their passing from a disease could be related to a complication of medical care, or it can be due to actual disease. And so it's important to first realize that. And there are, of course, certain attachments with animals and with people that can be considered pathologic. It's not healthy. You can have a healthy relationship with a being, understanding that their time on this planet is limited. And that understanding is normal. If you don't have that understanding, then you're in for a real shock, because every being will eventually pass, and that's just the cruel truth of the world of life. So you have to start with that basic premise, in that you always risk being heartbroken if you're going to be attached to somebody or something. And in general, in the vast majority of cases, animals are going to die before you die. Okay, those are two fundamental truths. So with that comes the fact of what do you do when a pet finally passes away? Either expectedly or unexpectedly, I guess, but what do you do when they pass away? So first you have to come to terms with understanding the first basic truths that we just talked about, right? You have to understand that. That's inevitable. It's not negotiable. The second thing is you want to, of course, find clarity. You want closure. If your pet passed away of natural causes, then that's great. Kudos to you. You want a pet to pass away from natural causes. If your pet passes away because of medical care, whether it's some sort of a complication or the pet's natural disease, well, then of course you expect closure from your doctor, and rightfully so. So that brings us to the next point, which is, if your pet dies of anything other than natural causes, well, how do you find out the answer as to why your pet passed away? And so your veterinarian plays a huge role in this. You have to, first of all, trust your veterinarian. I mean, you have to have an inherent trust. You trust them to take care of the pet. So in your pet's passing, you have to trust into their reason why your pet passed away, right? That's obvious. And secondly, does your vet truly know what happened? If you say yes, my vet knows, and they told me, well then okay, believe them. I mean, that's it. You believe them, and there you go. If your vet doesn't know, has some educated guesses, but does not know why, well, okay, well, you need to believe that too. That's, what are you going to do about it? I mean, veterinarians are people as well, and they don't have all the answers. They will have more answers than you would, as a layperson, but they're not going to have all the answers for every single case that passes away. And so you have to believe them. If they truly don't know, or they have some guesses, then that's the answer. To say, well, my vet doesn't know, and that's the end of it, and you leave with a sort of disgruntled point of view, that doesn't help anybody, and you're losing out on how life actually works. So you have to trust your veterinarian. If it's a case of a complication from something that they did, treatment, surgery, or whatever, well, you have to trust that they would fess up to that, and that they can disclose that information to you without fearing the repercussions. Medical board cases or lawsuits, that type of thing, which does happen in veterinary medicine. It's not unique to just people. It is also something that happens in our profession, and you have to trust they're going to tell you the truth. And if they don't tell you the truth, that's human nature. You have to then decide, well, okay, do I believe my veterinarian or not? If I don't believe them, then do I take further action? Further action is going to be to either, if it's financial in nature, that you want to have some sort of revenge on them by reclaiming your finances, then you claims court. You take them to claims court and you try to win back your money. If it's a matter of you think that medically speaking they were negligent or unethical or whatever, it's malpractice, then of course you report to the veterinary medical board and you hash it out there. There's no money involved with that. That's purely you want to do right by your pet, believing that they passed for inappropriate reasons. But on the whole, majority of cases, veterinarians are inherently good people. They're knowledgeable, they're competent, they want to do right by you and your pets, and so they either know what happened to your pet, or they don't. If they don't know what happened to your pet's demise, then they either have some guesses or they truly don't know. And you can do what you want with that information. But I would advise that you trust your pet, your veterinarian, considering that you trust them with your pet's care when they were alive. That's a simple matter of fact. So number one is to understand the fundamental, basic, undisputable truths. Number two is trust your veterinarian, find closure in them. And three is, what do you do beyond that? Well, that's when your family and friends and organizations come into play. So obviously you're going to mourn, and you're going to want to seek some level of comfort from however else you seek it. Friends, family, coworkers, whatever it is. And that's where you're going to go. Any natural mourning process, you're going to want to go around the lines of communication that you inherently will always do whenever you feel sad about something, whether it's a pet passing, a person passing, or some other sad thing happened to your life. Do what you normally do. For animals, there seems to be sort of this. There's a need for an extended level of service, and so we have organizations, either independent or run by veterinary schools. There's hotlines, things like that, where you can call and actually speak to somebody to get help. There's also psychoanalysts, therapists that you can see, also to help you with coping with loss. So that's also a fair option. What you don't want to do is go down the line of pathology, where you become self-destructive and suicidal, and you start taking things to the extreme. That's not good for anybody. Yourself or people who care about you. It's not the right way to, of course, handle any kind of sad news, and that includes the passing of your pet, no matter how devastating that is for your life. I get it. There are people out there who their pet was their life. It's all they have. They have no family. They have no friends. Their pet is what kept them going. And yeah, I get that. To say it's very difficult to cope with that loss is an understatement. However, it is of course not worth putting yourself through hell and doubting your own reason for existence because your pet or somebody passed away. You need to continue. You need to overcome this challenge and move on with your life. So there are professional avenues that one can take in order to recover from the sadness of a pet passing, and over time you'll heal. If you find yourself in a pathologic state, or you find yourself participating in repetitive behavior, you're calling the vet every 2 days to find out what happened, you're calling your friends and your family constantly, not knowing what to do, you are considering going to the veterinary medical board because you really think something wrong happened, even in the face of a clear-cut case where your pet had X disease and died of Y reasons, and there you go. If you find yourself and you're able to recognize that you are in a sort of a non-reconcilable, negative, vicious cycle of emotions, then you really do need to seek help. You need to understand that, recognize that, and seek professional help in order to get past this process. So I can't emphasize that enough. So to summarize, you want to make sure that you believe the fundamental truths of life and death. You want to be able to have trust and believe your veterinarian, and you want to be able to recognize that your sadness is beyond the standard level of sadness, so whatever that may be, the majority of people undergo, and seek professional help. So those are the three big points I want you to take away from this video. I hope this video helped you out there, and for anybody who has lost a pet or a loved one, I am sincerely sorry for the loss. I hope that you can eventually find peace with that. So this is Dr. Shadi Ireifej here, True Care of Pets, Studio City, Los Angeles. Vet Talks, let's pause for a minute, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.